Welcome to Crime Focus on Mate TV. So today we'll be talking about this young man, okay, from Kenya. All right. So on the 5th of January 2021, a 22-year-old Lawrence Warunge left his school and traveled down to his hometown to kill his entire family. This happened after he watched a television series, Killing Eve. Alright. Now the question is, how did this movie he watched, okay, affected him to the extent of traveling all the way from Thika to Nairobi to commit this murder, okay, to commit this atrocity because he murdered his entire family. So I'm going on a break now. So before that, give this video a thumbs up and also turn on your notification button for more updates. And also, don't forget to subscribe, all right? Don't forget to subscribe. I'll be right back. Welcome back. So, on the 5th of January, he took a knife and traveled all the way from Thika, that's his school, to Nairobi, going to his family's house. Okay, when he got to his family's house, he surveyed the environment because he doesn't want to leave any trails around. Okay, he has planned for all this. So instead of going through the front gate, he went through a house close to theirs. Right? It was at that compound Lawrence killed his first victim, a man called James Kiyaguri. He was working in the building at the time Lawrence showed up. Okay, and when he showed up, he was the only one in the compound when Lawrence came in. He had other workers, but they went for a break. So James came, and Mr. James didn't take any thought about it. Why Lawrence came around? Lawrence is his boss's son. Like um, Mr. James is working in Lawrence's father's house. So he is the owner of the property. So there's no reason why the son will be coming to see his father's property or that. So when John saw Lawrence, he came through and checked on his father's building. So they exchanged greetings and all that. And after that, Lawrence requested for a metal bar like an iron rod. Again, Sir James did not suspect anything. So James found the metal bar and gave it to Lawrence. And then James continued with what he was doing. Lawrence, standing with the metal bar with him, he was shaking because he was nervous. Yes, he was nervous because James is going to be his first victim. So Mr. James asked Lawrence if he was all right. So after that, Lawrence replied that yes, he was just so tired. So James turned and continued with his work. Lawrence took the iron bar and struck him heavily on his head. Immediately he fell to the ground. Lawrence bounced on him and slit his throat. Lawrence waited for a while, and after he waited for a while at that building, so until he had his father's car, so he was driving into their main compound. So that was around 8 p.m. and it was dark around 8 p.m. The weather and everything, the whole place is becoming dark. So Lawrence scaled the barbed wire fence. He jumped over the fence, and though he got injured because it's a barbed wire, it's electric protection, all that. James wasn't his main target. The family was the main target. So instead of, when if James if Lawrence starts killing his family and all that, the screaming and everything, so you will hear the noise. So you just have to take James away because he will be like, you know, the alarm. You will like, you know, raise alarm for killing and all that. So when the father, Mr. Warunge, drove into the compound, Lawrence jumped over the fence and got into the compound. Straight, he went to the backyard. Alright, he went to the backyard and saw his mother, Mrs. Anne Warunge, through the window in the kitchen, preparing dinner for her lovely husband. Well, to Lawrence, he knew that she was going to be her next target. Lawrence went to cut the power supply so that there will be blackouts in the house. So literally, and you know, the environment and everywhere is getting dark. He went down to cut the power supply, so everywhere will be dark, no light. The people inside didn't know what was happening. They thought it was, you know, a general blackout, that the power was going to come back on after some time. They didn't know that their end was close. After Lawrence cut off the power supply, he then lit a plastic bag and placed it close to the door of the kitchen. The mother came out to check what what caused the fire, how did the fire get there. She got there. As she opened the door, Lawrence hit his mother with the iron bar, okay, on her head. And when she raised her head, it was her son with a knife on his hand. So the mother and Lawrence, they struggled and struggled and struggled. Lawrence overpowered her and stabbed her multiple times before slitting her throat in the kitchen. While Lawrence and the mom were struggling, it was said that somebody came and checked what was happening in the kitchen. So that was Lawrence's cousin, Christian. He came for the holidays, so he was staying there at that time. So when Christian got to the kitchen, Lawrence was on top of Anne, stabbing her. Some sources said Lawrence killed Christian in the hallway, while some others said he ran upstairs and hid himself under his bed. So while he was running, he raised an alarm, he shouted and screamed. So Mr. Nicholas was in his room getting ready for dinner when he heard the commotion happening downstairs. He opened the door, to know what was happening at that time. He didn't know that his wife had been killed and Christian had seen something horrible. So when he opened the door and he saw his son at the hallway, he saw Lawrence at the hallway with a knife, blood all over his body. So Mr. Nicholas ran back to his room. So as he was running, the chase began. Lawrence followed him. He was about closing the door. Lawrence pushed the door. He fell. So he stood up quickly and ran to his balcony, to jump over. So he jumped over his balcony, and when he, landed on the floor, on the ground, he dislocated his ankle. That made him, he could not, run or, even walk well, or even stand well at all. So that gave Lawrence enough time to run downstairs, bounce on the father, stab him multiple times. So after that, after he has, satisfied stabbing the father, he went inside the house to, back into the house to his younger brother's room, Maxwell. Maxwell was in his room when all of this was happening. Lawrence saw him and also he stabbed him to death. He went to Christian's room, who saw him earlier killing his mom. When he got to the room, he was under the bed and Lawrence slit his throat. But before he did, Christian was begging. he begging Lawrence to spare his life, to not kill him. But the guy was taking over. I don't know. He still slit his throat. But Lawrence wasn't done. There were still two people left in his family household. So he went on the search and started searching room to room. He realized that there was nobody in the house, and those people were his two sisters. Luckily for them, they had gone to school earlier that day. So they were both of them were in the boarding no, they were in the boarding house, so they went to school, so they were not coming back. So Lawrence took a break after he had, done all this killing and everything. He took a break to rest. He was resting. As he was resting, okay, he had some sound. Somebody was groaning in pain and all that. So he was like, okay, what's happening? To him, he had killed everybody. So he listened carefully. He picked up the knife again, and he was listening. He listened carefully and traced where the gun was coming from. He discovered it was from outside, and when he went to the balcony, he saw that it was his father. He was struggling and crawling down towards the gate. So he ran downstairs again and stabbed him multiple times, and he slit his throat, making sure that he's dead for real this time. So after that, Lawrence went back into the house, went take a bath, changed his clothes, went into the kitchen and took the dinner that the mother was cooking. All right, took the dinner that the mother was cooking, went to the living room, sat down, put on the power back on, and turned on the TV. So he turned off all the lights in the house, but he turned on the TV, and he was relaxing, eating and watching television in the house after he had slaughtered his whole family. How can somebody be so, hard-hearted that after doing all this, killing and slaughtering, blood all over the places, you went on, freshened up, took food that your mother, you slaughtered in cold blood, eating and watching TV in the same house. So as Lawrence was eating and relaxing in the living room watching television, something happened. So what happened? We'll find out after the break. Welcome back. So, like I said earlier, when he was enjoying himself, let's say eating and watching TV, something happened. He had a knock at the gates. Alright? So when he had a knock, he quickly off the television and he went through the window to peep who was knocking at the gate. Surprising to him, it was the police. It was the police that was knocking at the gates. So what was the police doing there at that time of the night? Because it was around 9 p.m. So did anybody saw him when he was killing, or what made the police to be there? Well, it turned out the house Lawrence, made his first kill, Mr. James, yeah. So after he had killed him, his co-workers came back. And when they came back, they found Mr. James murdered, murdered in the house, in the apartment, in the property where he was working. So it was them who called the police to come and see what they had said. So the police came and they started evacuating the body of Mr. James, and all that. People started, gathering and all that. So that was around 9 p.m. That was around 9 p.m. So when they finished, dealing with Mr. James' body, Lawrence, at that time, they were evacuating Mr. James' body. That was, at that same time, James was busy killing his family. So after the police had finished with the evacuation, they were wondering what happened, who and how Mr. James got killed. So they went to the building adjacent, which was the Warunge family. So they went there to knock and ask if they had seen anything suspicious or anybody going in, at that time. So when they knocked and knocked, nobody replied. So to them, they had assumed that they are all going to sleep at that time. That was around 9 p.m. All right, around 9 p.m., the whole entire family will be asleep. No, 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 no. Not anywhere. Like, it doesn't like even happen anywhere. How can the whole family at 9 p.m. be asleep? I don't. It could happen, but I'm not sure about that. 9 p.m. Mm-mm. So they agreed within themselves that they will come back the next morning to ask for the Warunge family if they had seen anybody. So, but this is a murder case here. After knocking at the next compound, you see how Mr. James was brutally murdered. He wasn't shot, he was hit in his head and stabbed, slit his throat. With this kind of murder, you should know that this killer might be testing for more blood. So you should, try to do more than just knocking, all right, to at least get an answer that night because this is a murder case. It's not as if it was a robbery, all right? It's a murder. Somebody was killed cold bloodedly. So after that, after the police had left, um, Lawrence continued with his movie. He turned on the television and continued with his movie. So after that, Lawrence Lawrence went to sleep in his parents' room. In his own parents' room, the parents he had slaughtered. He went there to sleep and he slept there till around 4 a.m. So by 4 a.m. he woke up. He woke up and around 4 a.m. the environment is still dark. It's not like it was daybreak. So around 4 a.m. he picked the shoes, the clothes and weapon, everything he did. Everything, the shoes that soaked with blood, the weapon and everything, all the evidence. He took both his father's phone, mother's phone, every gadget in the house, took them and traveled a little distance to bury them. So when it was done, the police came and hopefully to get some answers to Mr. James' mother from the Wamonge's family. Shocking to them, shocking to them. When they entered into the compound, they saw that the entire, not entirely, because two and Lawrence is still alive. So he saw the Wamonge's family body lying over, dead, blood all over, brutally murdered, like horribly. So this caused panic within the neighborhood because such crime had never happened, and they were like, "Come on, how can somebody commit such a crime under their nose?" It's shocking. It's a very so it's a it caused a big shock to the community. Now the police is asking within themselves. Okay, they're asking within themselves who could have done this. As at this time, as at now, they had no suspect yet. But suspicion, they start getting suspicious within themselves when they start, try to reach out to the surviving family of the Warungi. So they called Lawrence first since he's the firstborn. But when they called his phone was switched off. Right? Some sources said the police reached out to the school, to Lawrence's school, and when they reached out to them, they told them that Lawrence is not in school. Other sources said they traced his phone, they traced his phone to know his location. Right? If to know his location, if he's safe, thinking if he had been kidnapped, since the entire family has been murdered. They traced his phone to his location that he was in the compound at that time when the Warunge family was murdered. So they can also trace his phone to the house. So when they trace his phone, they trace his phone that okay, his phone was in the house when the murder was going on. So when the murder was going on and the phone is in the house, so it means that Lawrence also was in the house that same yesterday when the murder was going on. So the thing is now they don't know if it's safe or not, or if they are kidnapping, because his body was not found in the compound. So possibilities started rising that he might be the killer and he might not be the killer. Maybe he had been kidnapped. All right. So they were tracing the phone, looking for, and also continue trying the number. Hopefully that he will turn the phone back on to so that they can be able to trace his present location. So Lawrence, after burying the evidence, because I told you earlier that he went out 4 a.m. in the morning to go bury those evidence, the phone and all that. So he went to after burying them, he went to his girlfriend's house, but the girlfriend wasn't around. So he went to his uncle's house. Hmm. So after he got to his uncle's house, he told the uncle all that he had done. Hmm. So the uncle encouraged him that, okay, that since you've done this, he encouraged him to turn himself to the police. All right, that everything will be all right. So some other sources said that the uncle also called the police and reported that this is what his nephew had done. So Lawrence at his uncle's place, he turned on the phone, and also the police that had been tracing his phone traced his phone to his uncle's place. And when they got there, he did not struggle with them. He just followed them to the station and all that. When they got to the station, Lawrence first he denied that he wasn't the one that did the murder and all that. So they after that they brought in the his girlfriend. Okay, because when they were tracing his phone, they traced that, okay, after he buried those stuff, he went the next location he went to was his girlfriend's house. So the police went to his girlfriend's house and arrested her, thinking that she is also a suspect because her place was the next location he went to. So they were thinking that she was an accomplice of the murder. So when Lawrence saw the girlfriend, he confessed to his crime that and agreed that he did it all by himself. So the girlfriend at that time, okay, she began to make some confession that shifted her from being a suspect to a witness. So she said that she was the one that bought the knife, but she never knew the purpose that what Lawrence wants to use the knife for. And there was some times that Lawrence started acting weird. So on the 2nd of January, yes, on the 2nd of January, he asked her to drink some substance, okay, some substance that would make her sleep for a long time. So probably he wanted to kill his family on the 2nd of January. All right. He wanted to also use her, I'm sure he wanted to use her as an alibi. So after she must have slept, he would go and kill the family, then come back to her. So in case maybe the police find out, then the girlfriend will testify that no, 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 the boyfriend has been with her all through. All right. So we see that this he has been planning all this for a very long time, but it didn't actually go through. So, and there was also a time that he told her that he told her that he had found a means where both of them will live together. Okay, they will live together, they will be together in peace. But she did not understand that statement at all. She doesn't understand why Lawrence made such a statement. Now, maybe Lawrence's family was not in support of their relationship. Now, it could be that, but that is not enough, reason for killing your entire family. It is possible that he had killed the family because of the girlfriend, and that is not enough reason to kill your family in such a manner. It's so brutal. Hitting them with iron rod, the stabbing of multiple times, that's so crazy. It's so crazy. But these reasons are best known to him, and many people who are they are crying out, coming out to criticize this guy, learns that he's a psychopath, he's a crazy human being, he's just thirsty, thirsty for blood, and there's nothing his parents would have done to him, all right, that would have warranted or give him reason to slaughter his family in such a manner. Okay. And the psychiatrist said he's so the case is still on, and the psychiatrist that has been with him said he was mentally not unstable for the trials because he was because of all this drama. But finally he has confirmed that he's fine now, and he is ready for the trial. Okay. And also the police did some, went and did some research concerning the family. All right. And they found out that he Lawrence and the parents had some issues. Okay, they've had some issues that even the police is aware about it. So they had some family issues, and they had gone to the police to report between Lawrence and the family fighting. And he also said that the siblings were in support of the parents fighting Lawrence. That he also said that the parents said they abandoned him, and they were going to kill him. So that's why he killed them before they kill him. So he said they abandoned him, that he was good for nothing. And he also said the siblings were in support of all this. But I believe that there are more to this, more and more to this. So don't forget to subscribe. Okay, turn on your notification button. So I'll be giving you updates on this as soon as we hear what the next update is. All right, I'll be giving you update. Don't forget to subscribe, 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 subscribe. All right, and also give this video a thumbs up. And I want to get your comments. All right, what is your take concerning this full story about Lawrence Warunge slaughtering his family cold-bloodedly, like slaughtering the family cold-bloodedly because of all this reason? So do you think it's enough reason for him to slaughter the family? Let me know in the comment section. For now, see ya later. Keep on watching Crime Focus on May TV. I'm your guy, Musi.